City Council regular meeting to order Tuesday, April 20th. Please join me in pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Deb.
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Conlon?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Wick?
Yes.
Motion to approve the agenda?
Is there a second? So moved. Motion made and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to welcome everybody in the chamber this morning for our council meeting, and particularly the people that are watching over our television programs. Okay, the first thing on the agenda today is we've got a hearing, and it has to do with the airport runway reconstruction project. At the April 6, 2021 meeting, the council set this as the date and the time of the public comments on plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the airport runway 18/36 reconstruction project. Grant applications are due to the FAA in May. The project is complete removal and replacement of the existing runway. The bids are due on May 11th, 2021 at 1 p.m. and to award the contract is due on May 18th, 2021. At this time, I'm going to open a hearing and ask if there's any written or oral objections or comments on this project. I will once again ask if there's any written or oral objections or comments on the project of the runway. Hearing or seeing none, I'm going to consider the hearing closed. The administration recommends the approval of council to proceed with the project on a contingent on FAA grant approval. The financial involved is the project is a 90% FAA and 10% city funding split. The estimated cost of the project is $4,381,639.50. This time I'd ask if there's any questions from the council.
I got a question. Didn't we put extensions on both ends of the runway, and we're gonna tear up the new concrete we just put down a couple years ago?
No.
That's not a complete removal then, right?
It spelled it out in there.
Yeah, well, we just added on the north end is staying. What I have in your packet, it says 90% on, right here is the 100%. I didn't have the 100% in time to put in your packets.
Got paying for all of it?
No. No, well, we'll get to that too. Just wait, Dick. That's
Just
a
for my attention.
good, you
That
bring
caught
that
my
up.
attention.
No, but it says, these plans, what you have in your packet, it says 90 or preliminary across the front. These are the 100%. So, but anyway, to your point, Dick, Carl Byers is on the phone too from Bolton and Mink.
Hi, Carl.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So I don't know if you have anything to add, Carl. What you told me on the phone earlier, I guess you can inform the council on.
No, basically to answer the question, no, we're not replacing any new pavement. We're tying into the beginning of what the new pavement, the last extension was, we'll be tying into that and going south. And then there is some pavement off the south end that was added to the runway years ago, but we are not going beyond the threshold. So it's threshold to the north end of beginning of the new pavement. So that will be what's replaced. The other thing that I shared with Jason is that we have yet to see it in writing in this region, but the way that the recent federal bill was for aid, and what we're hearing in other regions is that there's a very, very high likelihood that this will be actually 100% federally funded. The typical 90% federal, and then the other 10 will be picked up in this aid bill. So there's, I'm not going to say we can for 100% certainty, because like I said, we have not seen it in writing from the central region yet. But I'd say that there's a high probability, very high probability that this will end up being 100% federally funded.
That's good news. Any questions?
Can I ask the question of when was the existing runway poured? Anybody have an idea?
Could you tell, Carl?
I probably, I have that in a report somewhere, but I don't have that at the tip of my tongue here. I think we had it in the design report, but I don't remember. I can look it up as we're sitting here.
I'm trying to quickly scan that.
Well, the point I was gonna make is that I just wonder what the soil is like underneath it. We know it's not clay, it's probably,
Well,
Not very well. Not very good.
yeah, the soil does not drain very well. One thing we are doing on this project is we are adding subdrains down both sides with a granular base that does drain, so that when you get the high water tables and potential flooding in that area, when it goes down, it should drain out underneath the pavement, and over a period of time, it should lessen, or it typically, that will probably double the length of your pavement if you can keep the moisture out from underneath it. And so we are adding drainage and drainable base underneath the pavement to lengthen the pavement line.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I'm not finding the date popping out here, Ken.
I just was concerned about it, you know, in that floodplain and that loam of soil that floods in there. So,
Yeah, and because of the soil also, we are actually doing some cement treating of the subgrade to give it more strength before we pave over it, which between that and the drainage and then the good drainable base, we should have much better pavement life on this.
Does that answer your question?
yes, thoroughly.
Any other questions?
What's the, while it's torn up, what's the alternative, airport?
They'll have to relocate if they,
Just, I mean, figure it out for yourself, or,
yeah, I don't know if we're gonna arrange to
Okay.
make any claims.
okay.
I mean, they'll be notified when it's gonna, they'll be notified that the project's happening. They'll be given the length of time, a full year, we thinking, Carl? Or
It's
summer.
I think 75 working days, which is about 4 months. Now, that's it. It's pretty straightforward paving, so when they get going, they may be able to meet that. I think a big firm that would come in and do this could potentially beat that, because it's straight shot. You know, there's not a lot of hand pouring, it's mostly machine pouring, but we do give them 75 working days.
Yeah, I believe, so Wells, for example, they'll probably house their plane in Sioux City.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Is there somebody watching the concrete as it goes in and on a daily basis?
Holden Mink will.
Bolton and Mick's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
there all the time on site to make sure that we get the strength we're supposed to get and stuff?
I'm assuming, yeah, you guys are
When
doing
we're doing the
inspection.
base placement and the concrete, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is the 4 million taking into consideration the increase in costs right now, Carl?
I think
I'm sorry, just that taking into
it's a recent
account
number.
increase in what?
It's recently been up.
Is the 4,300,000 considering the new construction prices right now or current construction prices?
It's taking into account what we know from recent bidding. I will caveat that with the drain pipe PVC prices right now are just all over the place.
Okay.
The other thing that's all over the place is electrical, but we do not have electrical in this. So, but the drain pipes, that's kind of a wild card right now.
Okay.
Here's your question, Clark. Any other questions?
Motion to adopt resolution 2116 on plan specifications, forms of contract, and estimated cost for the airport runway 18-36 reconstruction project contingent on the FAA grant approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to adopt the resolution number 21-16 on plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of the cost for the airport runway 18-36 reconstruction project contingent on FAA grant approval. Do we have a roll call on that, Deb?
Goodchild.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Knapp.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, moving on to our general discussion, and where we have our general discussion, if anybody has any comments or concerns or compliments about the city, we ask them to stand at the podium and state their name and address. And we're always interested in listening to them all. The council can't make any decisions on the open discussion, but they certainly take them all into consideration. Do we have anybody, any open discussion today? Yes, sir.
Tom Kurth, I live at 989 14th Avenue Southeast. This fall, I don't know, when do we elect the new mayor now? Is it this fall?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a description of what the mayor does?
It's in the code.
It's in the ordinance.
Yeah, what I read is he chairs this meeting. That's his job description. So what else do you do for the salary?
It's in the code of ordinance, Tom. It's a lot more than just chairing this meeting. It's all listed in the code of ordinance.
People will have that given to them if they come to run for the mayor?
If they wanted, yeah.
I mean, somebody could come and see that basically my job is to chair this meeting.
If it'll help you, Tom, I've got books for the last 12 years, a calendar every year, and written down in there is my daily work. And so anybody that's interested can come and visit with
But
me.
does that mean they're gonna do that?
I don't know, that's up to them, not you or me.
Well, if we have it in the code and they've got to do that, in other words, the guy could come in and just say, I'm gonna just do this. Chair this meeting for an hour and a half, whatever, and that's it.
Well, I'd hope the one that's run, or whoever runs, is very interested in keeping this city going the way it is, because it's a nice town. And
Yeah.
if he's coming in with that attitude, we don't want him anyway.
Well,
You might not have a choice.
right. I mean, most of the city is run on volunteer committees, all of it.
Right. I'm aware of it.
This gets paid and the county supervisors get paid.
Yeah,
Everybody else is volunteer.
yeah.
And that's another question I was gonna ask. How is it that the council's salary is so high?
How do you know it's too high?
Well, first, they should pay him a set price per meeting.
They do.
What is it?
We get 6,000
6,000.
a year.
6,000 a year.
Okay, 6,000 a year, 30 meetings, that's $200 an hour.
They put in a lot more than
Oh,
30
oh, oh.
meetings. You
The
better
only
bet.
time we pay them is when they're right here.
No, no.
Yes, we do.
No, no. Every one of these people sitting up here on our different committees, and right now we got 31 different ones.
I realize that, but the only time they make decisions for us, the public, is when they're right there. When they're gathering information at another meeting, we're not paying for that. You know, look at the school board. They don't get paid for their time, and they do that. You gotta have background information to come here and talk about it.
Let me ask you a question. Where are you coming from anyway? What do you want?
Well, I was on the council years ago, and we got paid $15 per meeting.
Yeah.
Why aren't we staying with that? Why has it gotten way up here?
How long ago was that, Tom?
How many years ago was you on that?
In late 69, 70,
You don't think the price of pokers went up any since then?
but we never got paid for anything but this meeting, is what I'm pointing out.
Mr. Kurth, the salary of council, whenever it is raised or lowered, comes in front of the council and they vote on it,
Right.
okay? At one of our last council meetings, we had a discussion about revisiting the pay scale for the mayor and for the council.
Mm-hmm.
That is currently at committee. If and when a recommendation is made to raise or lower that, it will be published and you'll be able to come here and voice your concerns.
Okay, but will I know in advance?
Yeah.
as to
Absolutely.
when we're gonna do it?
Absolutely.
Because-
And the people sitting here can't vote for their raise. It only
Well,
applies to the next person that gets.
I would assume a committee would be, not with this group, but a separate committee of people would recommend that, oh, this is what we're gonna do, or we're not gonna do.
Yeah, I believe it's been 16 years, maybe how many, We haven't had a raise for 16 years, something like that.
Well, I was down here at one meeting not too long ago, I mean, in the last few years, and you were talking raises then, and he gave the mayor a
We
raise.
gave the mayor a raise.
But
we
you
did not
didn't
give-
take one,
we
right?
didn't give the council a raise, no.
Right,
That's
but
right.
there was discussion
There
about
was.
we should get a raise,
I agree.
right?
Yeah, and I mean, not to speak out of hand, but I have to clock my time because that's the business I'm in, so I clock my hours. And for my 28 years, I've averaged between 300 and 400 hours working on city stuff, which includes meetings, but includes my other research, includes webinars that I attend and stuff to try to make the city better.
Yeah,
So that's,
I was
you
on
can call
the
that
city,
some volunteering, you can call that some pay.
You
I
know,
don't think it's unreasonable.
I was on the city council and they dumped the landfill on me because I'm the only guy that knew anything about it because they taught some.
Yeah.
Well, we held all the meetings in my house because nobody let us go into a public building. And we didn't have any money to work with. That was a nightmare, but we got it done. We hired an engineering firm that went broke, but we'd go out there and stake it out with the engineer, do all that kind of crap, so.
Do you view this group of people up here as a value to the city, or not?
Well, you gotta have it. That's
I
just
didn't
our
ask
form
that.
of
You
government.
view- I didn't ask
Do
that,
you
I
view
said,
it?
do you view it as a value to the city?
Well, yeah, but
Okay, but
at what level?
Have you tried to go out and form a committee or chase down people to fill committee spots? You can't, volunteering in 1969 was a whole heck of a lot different than it is in 2021. Go get volunteers, good luck, go get them.
Well, Clark,
But here's what bugs me a little bit,
okay,
is you sit here and say, we get paid to sit here for this meeting.
that's
Given
right.
the impression that every other week, I'm here for an hour and a half, and that's all I do. Well, you are smart enough to know that that's totally false. That is completely false. We do a lot more than that.
And I just told you, we only pay you when you're here making decisions for the city.
Well, I don't think we need to argue about that
Right.
in particular
But
piece
that's-
today. I think what you're here telling us is that you think that the salaries that the council and the mayor have are too high, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Very
And-
much.
And we've also discussed that there's a committee dealing with it right now. And
I
we'll
hope
come with a
so.
recommendation, and it will be published, and you'll have a chance to voice your concerns at that point in time before any vote is had
Okay.
for the next election cycle. So, if you have a recommendation, by all means, send it to Jason or send it to the mayor with what your thoughts are on the issue, and it'll be considered by the committee, and you'll have a right to come here and talk about it at the meeting when it's discussed.
I mean, I volunteer my time, I've been on a couple things for over 35 years,
Right?
Tom,
and I don't get paid a penny.
right after what Mike,
Right.
the city attorney just told you, do you agree to that?
Yeah, I agree to
Okay,
it, but,
then that's enough.
okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if the ordinance is broke down in so much detail that it says you shall only get paid when you attend a meeting. No. You
Okay.
get compensated for being a council member.
Moving on, is there any further discussion? Anybody else have any concerns or compliments about the city? Hearing none, we'll move on to the council. Mike,
Thumbs up.
thumbs up award.
Across the street from us to our west is a not-for-profit healthcare organization, Lamar's Area Dialysis Services. This month marks its 10th anniversary. It has taken care of well over 100 patients over the course of that time. And it is a private, not-for-profit organization. I wanted to tip my hat to the members of our community who do volunteer to govern and oversee that operation for those people, so they don't have to go to Sioux City or elsewhere to get those very important treatments 3 times a week. So kudos to Dave Miller, who's currently the chair, Leanne Arns, Gary Susamil, Pat Warner, Kurt Close, and Bob Brock are the members of that board. So I give thumbs up to them, as well as the nurse manager, Reba Arns.
You say 10 years, Mike?
Yeah.
How many?
Thank you
There
very
should be a
much.
banner going up on the building in the next several days so that people can see that enough.
Thank you very
Otherwise,
kindly.
it's a very quiet neighbor.
It is. Thank you very kindly for that report, Mike. I remember personally very vividly when that got started and the challenges you all had of getting that off the ground.
It was
But it's
tricky.
been a-
I'm glad
it's
it's,
been a real
glad it's
asset.
still successful.
It's been a real asset to this town and people around us in the community. Anything else? No. Clark?
I know I always change thumbs up to hats off. Hats off to the 113th category.
Oh,
And their return home, that was a very modest and nice welcoming here, and good to have all them soldiers back, so hats off to them.
Thanks a lot, Clark, for bringing that up. If you'd had the opportunity to see them meet their loved ones after 10 months.
Nothing like it.
Rex?
I'm gonna pass it in.
Ken?
Just to comment, things are getting back to normal, and that's really nice to see in town. And for those parishioners at St. James, the church is back open again, and it's just nice to see things get back to normal.
Steve?
Thumbs up to the Galen Ball Committee and their successful virtual ball that they had over the weekend.
Good.
It was well done for being a virtual ball, and I know they raised a lot of money, so thumbs up to the Galen Ball Committee.
Great. I've only got one, and we've already given her a lot of thumbs up this morning. And that's our lovely clerk, Bev, who's retiring. So, Bev, thank you for everything you've done.
Get it on camera, Greg.
I
got it. I got it. Zoom in.
I think everybody in town knows what you look like. That's good.
Well, I couldn't help but notice on your Sentinel photo that your desk was clean. I've never seen you.
The only room we got a lot of space heater in, that's for sure.
Okay, moving on to the consent items, all items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on those items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. Today we have 7 of them. Approval of the April 6, 2021 regular meeting minutes, a list of bills for the period ending 4/16/21. Number 3 is a monthly financial statement for March of 2021. And number 4 is a